So thinking systemically it is important because what we're trying to do is optimize the whole operation. So in order to do that, we have to understand the connectedness between people and between processes. I might think that I need to do something within my process to make my process better. And in fact, it might make my process better. But if I didn't take the whole system into account, I may be burying somebody on the other side of my process or not getting enough from somebody before my process. In the example of an automobile or an airplane or a powerboat, something with an engine, if you're trying to increase the horsepower, you would put something on your vehicle, perhaps like a turbocharger or supercharger, only to find out that if that's all you did, well, in fact, you have to do something to your fuel system, because your fuel system has to deliver more fuel if you're going to increase horsepower. And then if you look at the internal components, the engine itself was built to deliver a certain level of horsepower. Well, if you increase that, you may be stressing other parts of the engine. So there's all these types of things that if I'm thinking systemically, I will be thinking about all of those. I'll end up building a longer lasting car in this case, and not one that's going to break down. When you think about cross-training, for example, the big reason behind why we want to do that is it gains a deeper understanding for people about the whole system, the whole organization, so they begin to think differently about what they're doing because they now have a connection with people in other processes, upstream or downstream, and they can now look at that. So when they look at doing something, they now in the back of their mind know that it impacts somebody in each side of their process. So if we're looking for what some of those behaviors are going to look like, I would begin to look at how do people problem solve? Are they problem solving in a vacuum with just their process involved? And in some cases that's appropriate depending on what they're doing and what they're problem solving. But in other cases, they definitely need to have upstream and downstream involved in what they're problem solving. So the question is, are we getting the appropriate people involved in the problem solving that need to be? Another thing that might tell you that is even just a stand-up huddle. Who's at those stand-up meetings in the morning, taking in the information, talking to each other, and going out and being able to get today's work done and meet the goals that we have today by looking at the goals of the entire organization, not just the goals of their one area.